Doing fantastic. Excited to kick off the 94th season of Bulldog football. Do it right here in Bulldog Stadium. While we have a venue that's been here since 1981, so we've had some great improvements. We've got a brand new high-def video board that we're excited to put some highlights on and have some explosive plays go on. I think our fan experience is going to be fantastic, and we're excited about this group of young men. We've had a really good camp, stayed relatively healthy with the exception of Aaron Peck, and we've got a group of guys that are ready to attack and finally ready to hit somebody in a different colored jersey.
Is that a fresh haircut for the season opener?
It is. I got taken care of last week. Camp got a little shaggy.
Besides the haircut, what else were you pleased with from fall camp? I know you have a couple days left before the game, but what's been the thing that has stood out for you?
Well, I think the big thing is we've made tremendous strides from spring on both sides of the ball. I think offensively, we found out who our playmakers are, guys we can depend on. I think we've got a good core group of skill that we can distribute the ball to. It's not going to be just one or two guys. Martez Waller is going to be a workhorse for us. He had a really good camp. He's worked extremely hard all summer. It was good to see Dustin Garrison come in. I think he's going to be able to provide some help there at the running back position for us. Really like our offensive line, particularly the three seniors. And to see Zach continue to emerge, that was good to see because we had a really good quarterback competition. Defensively, I think our secondary has made great improvements from last year, and we needed to. But we've got some depth over there. We've got about 4 or 5 corners that we think are going to be extremely competitive. Really like what Coach Germano's done with our defensive front. We're making strides there. And I think the strength of our defense is going to be our linebackers. Having edge row back was a big plus for us this camp, and I know he's anxious to go out there and be 100% ready to go.
Anybody with questions? I got a mic here. We'll pass it around.
While they're passing the mic around the room here, Coach, did you happen to watch Montana and North Dakota State?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that the other day. It's great to have college football back. The excitement of that game, go down the wire. Kind of a story a little bit about us. When you look at a spread offense versus a traditional, pro-style offense. Coach Ditt's doing a nice job up there and has a very exciting brand of football. And when you can have the college football game, the first game of the season, end on the last play, and I think it just really heightens the interest everywhere.
And when you watch a guy who's coaching his first game for that school go for it on 4th down 6 times and convert 4 of those and then win at the end, you're like, boy, it's not supposed to be that easy.
No, but I'll tell you what, I think Coach Stitt is an extremely positive guy. I like his philosophy on how he does things. We got a lot of similar traits that way as far as how we view football, and to see him have success, it's not surprising, but it was fun to see.
Is it too much of a stretch to say that Abilene Christian is hoping for that kind of upset? I know they're not on their home field like the Grizzlies were, but I mean, is your team facing that determined opponent this Thursday?
I think Abilene Christian's going to come in here and expect to compete and expect to win. You look at what they've done over the last couple of years. A year ago they beat Troy State. They went down the wire with Georgia State, both on the road. They've traditionally beaten 1A teams. In fact, I think this is our 5th meeting, and we're 2-2 right now. So I don't know that they're going to be intimidated by anything. I'm hoping we're going to have a fantastic crowd here on Thursday night. I know as long of a time as it is between college football season, hopefully our fan base is excited as we are, and we'll fill Bulldog Stadium up. I know we've got another ticket deal at 4 for $49 to let the last people that are on that fence thinking about whether to come or not come for the excitement. 4 tickets for $49. I mean, you can't go to the movies for that, can you?
Not if you want popcorn.
No doubt.
Tim, you're talking about the fans and the experience that they might have. I've also heard you talk during camp about not having a preseason game. How important do you think it is to really fly out of the gates and have a strong start?
Well, our number one goal obviously is winning. I mean, that's the key. We want to win that first game. But at the same time, when you don't have preseason games, you want to develop depth. And we've got to get our younger guys who are redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomore, who have not played a ton of football, we've got to get them in the rotation. If they're in the 2 deep, we got to get those guys game ready, because our ultimate goal again is to win the conference championship, and we start our conference play in the 4th week. So I know we're going to play a couple different quarterbacks. We're going to play multiple guys at each position, but we need to develop our depth.
And when it comes to the quarterbacks, is there any kind of script or guess for when Jason or Ford or someone else might come in for Zach?
Yeah, as a coaching staff, we've talked about when we plan on doing that, but we're not going to let Allie and Christian know just yet. So.
More questions? First one of the year, anyone got to knock some rust off?
Hey, Coach, with regard to the quarterback situation, obviously a lot of fans say, oh, last year we had 2 quarterbacks going in. Now he's saying he's playing 2 quarterbacks, and they look at this as one and the same with last year. In your mind, how different is it this year, and why are you more optimistic about what's in front of you?
Well, I think coming out of spring a year ago, we knew we needed some more competition during the summer, and so we actively sought out a graduate transfer in Brandon Connette. Brandon came in, and it's very difficult to come in at the end of summer and understand a package completely different than what you've been doing. But at the same time, he was the closest competitor that we had. The fact that he got hurt set him back, unfortunately, and things didn't quite work out as well as planned. This year, I thought we had really good competition from the 3 quarterbacks coming out of spring. And then we got contacted by Ford, looking for an opportunity. And because he's had experience playing in the Big 12, that was one thing we lacked. We thought bringing him in, giving him an opportunity would do nothing but help that competition, and we've been spot on that. He's still a little bit rusty, but he's gotten a chance to compete, and right now he's 3rd on the depth chart, and hopefully we'll get a chance to play him here in these first few games.
Coach, what are you looking for from the wide receivers? On your 2 deep, you've got 3 out of the 4 guys listed as brand new guys, first timers in the program.
Well, when we recruited these guys, we thought they were going to be terrific players. We have some younger guys that have been in our program for a year to develop. I think I've made this analogy before. When we first got here, Devontae Adams was redshirted as a freshman. We knew coming out of spring that this guy was going to be a special player. Now, I don't want to put a Devontae Adams tag on these guys, but we know that these guys can compete in this conference. I think we're going to upgrade our speed tremendously. We've got a guy in Josiah who's coming in, and he hasn't played for us, but he's played in junior college. He played at Arizona State for a year. He's a long-bodied guy who's gotten better each week. I really think we're going to be a much better team come November than we will on Thursday night, because I know we'll continue to develop through this year. But the exciting thing for coaches is we've got some real talent there that we've got to continue to depth as this season goes on.
With the inexperience at that position and the inexperience at quarterback, how do you plan to utilize Martez Waller without burning him out?
Well, clearly he's probably our best weapon. A lot of what we do offensively can be dictated by defenses. If they want to load the box, we've got to be able to complete passes. But the nice thing about having Martez, especially he's up to about 218 pounds now. He's as explosive as he's ever been. He's a guy that you don't have to block everybody. He can run through tacklers. He can make guys miss. And then once he gets by somebody, there's very few people that can catch him. So we're going to lean on him. I think that'll take a lot of pressure off of our young quarterbacks. And if we can effectively do that, which hopefully we will be, then it sets up all your play action game.
Coach, talk a little bit about Abilene Christian coming in on Thursday.
Well, I mentioned a little bit, they're extremely explosive on offense. They're a group that averaged 275 yards passing, another 165 or so rushing. They're a balanced offense that way. They've got a returning quarterback who did a terrific job in his first year, a year ago, threw for 3,000 yards, 3 touchdowns. They've got a returning running back who's a preseason all-conference player for them. They've got really talented skill players. Now, this is a program that's put guys in the NFL. So, this is not your stereotypical FCS program that maybe doesn't have that level of talent. They've got guys that transfer in. In fact, one of the guys that just transferred in there signed last January with LSU, was one of the top tight ends in the country. For whatever reason, he decided to leave, and he transferred to Abilene Christian and is immediately eligible. They've got him in the depth of their offensive line. So this is going to be a talented group on defense. They've got a couple of defensive tackles that are 300-pounders. They play extremely hard. They're very well coached, and they play like they expect to win, which is a great sign of them believing in their coaching staff. we know we're going to have our hands full with them because they're going to be a group that's gone in and beaten FBS opponents before.
Coach, how nice is it for you as a staff and the players to get away from the training camp and then now you're in game week the rest of the way?
Well, I know our players are excited not to keep hitting guys in red and white. They're, kind of getting antsy to line up against somebody else and really see, what kind of strides we've made. So, as coaches, we think we know what we have, but until you go out there and do it against somebody in different colored jerseys, you don't know for sure. But we're excited for that anticipation to see, can we put it together? Can we, be efficient on offense, protect the football? We know we've got some explosive playmakers. Can they consistently do that? And then defensively, can we attack like we had in years past and not let the ball get thrown over our head? Those are the big challenges for us.
Coach, there's been a lot of talk about the youth and inexperience in some of the skill positions, but you do have 3 guys coming back to your offensive line this year. How important has that been to you?
Well, those guys are leaders for us. I really like our senior class. I had them over the house the other day for dinner after our Saturday practice. We've got a group that from January, I think, didn't like the way that the season ended, and they were determined to get back to our roots. We had strong leadership all year long. We had a few leaders, like Edgerow and Charles that had surgeries and didn't go through spring ball, like in Shannon Edwards. So it was hard. But all those guys had great summers, and I think our 3 offensive line seniors were guys that epitomized that work ethic, that know that, hey, last year wasn't good enough. Winning our division was okay, but we didn't finish the season the way we want to, and we want to do something about it.
Coach, where is Dalen Jones right now in his recovery?
Dalen's doing fine. He practiced the other day. We anticipate he will play.
I know if it were up to you, you'd play every single game at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, have breakfast, go out and play. You've got 6 home games. 3 of them are during the week. Your first one on Thursday. Just your overall thoughts on the schedule. Opening on a Thursday, having another Thursday game in November, and a Friday game at home as well.
Well, the schedule thing for me, it's something outside my control, so don't worry about it. You're right. I'd like to play 10 o'clock in the morning every Saturday, but a lot of things go into scheduling, and a lot of it's dictated by television, unfortunately. But it's a two-sided coin. We get the advantage of being on ESPN or CBS Sports. It tremendously helps our national image and recruiting, and we've seen the benefits of that. The tough part is on our fans, and we're hoping this weekend, having it on a Thursday night, everyone kicks off Labor Day weekend on Thursday before going out of town or whatever they're going to do. Having it on a Thursday night, I think, will obviously help get our student body to come on out. It won't be like they're be home on a long weekend and then have to come back. The Thursday that we have later on in the year against Reno comes after a bye week, so from a football standpoint, it doesn't matter to us as much as coaching-wise. We'll still have our normal prep. The UNLV week on a Friday, we'll lose a day. And I've always said Fridays are, I think, tough. I'd rather play on a Thursday than a Friday, just because Friday to me is high school football night. And it's tough, but again, those are decisions we don't make. That's something that we're directed to, by the people that make a lot of money by putting us on TV. Are you really going to ask a question?
Yeah, what jersey would you
What jersey will we be wearing? Our 3 senior captains have decided we're going to go our traditional all red look. Red helmets, red jerseys, and red pants. And we'll try to get some loose fit shirts underneath.
Speaking of those captains, when's the last time you were on a team where the long snapper got picked as a captain?
I can't recall one, but I'll tell you that it's a testament to Dylan Detweiler and what Paul's referring to. We had a vote for our captains this year, and Dylan Detweiler, a senior long snapper, in fact, received the highest number of votes from our team to be a captain. And we'll have 3 captains this week, or each week, and we'll probably add an additional captain as we go through the week. But our permanent captains are Dylan Detweiler, Todd Hunt, and Malik Meisenheimer.
Okay, Coach, during media days, you alluded to your freshman class, like this one coming in at very business-like mentality, very mature for their age, but you want to wait till the Pats come on. So now that camp is done, how did the freshmen turn out to be?
Well, there's quite a few of them that are in our 2 deep that are going to play for us. Looking defensively, Nella Odokolu, I think, had a really good camp. He's gonna figure and play. James Bailey has been very, very impressive, and he will play a pretty good bit for us. Trying to think offensively. I gotta look at my depth chart here in front of me.
Kininger.
Yeah, Zach Kininger will be in our 2 deep in the offensive line. Donnie Green is in our 2 deep in the offensive line. So we've got some guys that we knew talent-wise we're going to have a chance. But what happens is, Mike Bell had a really good camp, but we had great competition at the corner position. We're at a position right now that we probably are going to, anticipate redshirting him. But if we have an injury or two, we feel good about him, being able to move in and continue to develop. So part of it is just the happenstance of that position and where that position is depth-wise.
You didn't mention Chase and Virgil there. Is that almost because he
He's
doesn't
been
seem like
around.
a true freshman anymore?
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He is a true freshman, even though he's been here since January. Chase is going to get a chance. Clearly, he's a guy with a lot of talent. A lot of times, guys with a lot of talent don't figure out college life and being a football player. He's done a really nice job of, handling all those things. And he's still a freshman, but I like the progress that he's made. And, he'll get his opportunity on Thursday.
And as much as that quarterback competition's been talked about, was there a tighter, more neck-and-neck competition throughout camp than place kicker?
No. Cody did a nice job for us last year. He got pressed into a situation that he didn't anticipate. None of our coaches did. But as the year went on, he continued to get better. Really respected him for that. The thing we talked about him was leg strength. He wasn't quite where we needed him to be. Did okay in the spring. We went ahead and we signed, Jimmy, and anticipated Jimmy coming in and having a great competition. That's exactly what it's been. So we likely will play both of them at some point. Right now, our starting kicker, because he hasn't been knocked out of that, will be Cody. Hopefully he's been more efficient from 40 yards in, 40 yards out. Jimmy has. So, we won't know exactly. Well, coaches will know, but we're not going to say exactly which kicker will come in.
What about kickoffs?
Kickoffs is something that will likely be handled by Garrett. We're still working through that.
Coach, the decision to move Bo Bonheim away from center, I know you want to put the best guys on the line. How has that dynamic worked, not only with the two guys, obviously, who it affects the most, but also the quarterback?
Well, it's been good. The thing that has been really good is Jacob Vasquez has really stepped up in that position. I think anytime you're a young guy having a snap and then do your assignment, it's hard. But having Jacob go in there, he proved to us that he's one of our top 5 offensive linemen. If Bo's in there and Jacob's taking a rest, we're going to bring Micah in and just keep Micah at guard. We didn't even try Micah there at center, but Bo and Jacob are our best 2 centers. Donnie Green's also in that mix, but he's a guy that still, as a young guy, it's tough. But it allows us to get our best 5, and Bo being flexible, being able to play guard and center helps us.
Any more questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I know you said you want to get Jason some playing time in this game as well. Is the hope that after game 1 you'll have a full-time quarterback and that won't be an issue moving forward, or are you thinking you'll still have time to move him in even moving forward in the season?
We'll evaluate things as we go through the first game. Zach's our starting quarterback, but what we need to do is we've got to develop guys, and I don't want it to be somewhere down the line our starting quarterback gets hurt and the next guy in never repped. So our plan is to try to develop some depth, and at the end of each game we make evaluations of where we're at and what we need to do the next week.
Coach, how did Jason take the decision going to Greenlee, like on the field, on the practice field, after you guys come?
On the practice field, no change. I mean, he comes out and he competes every day. I think all of our quarterbacks have done a really nice job of understanding where they're at, what they need to improve on, and they just go about their business every day. They don't, clearly, if you're not the guy picked, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be disappointed, but by the way they play, they don't show it.
What should we expect from the defensive line?
I think we're going to have a hard-charging group. I think Claudell Lewis has made tremendous strides. Nate is light years better than it was a year ago. In the spring, he was a little rusty, moving to nose guard and taking over Tyler. But I really like progress he's made, and Todd Hunt's playing as well as he's played all year long. Nick Christophers has come in, and he's going to be a guy that'll be in the mix. He'll probably be our next defensive lineman in. Ryan Steele's made good progress at the nose guard position, and Kyle Hendrickson's a redshirt freshman. He's a little bit like Nate was a year ago. He's going to be in the mix for us. Probably a year away from where he's really going to be a terrific player, but he's going to be playing this year.
Anything for Coach? All right, we'll let Coach go and bring up